Governments around the world are directing their resources to remote working to tackle the health and economic threats of the COVID-19 pandemic. Cyber criminals are taking advantage of the opportunity. South Africa is, as you know, not immune. In the past few weeks, Parliament and some government online conferences have fallen victim to cyber hacking. Experts warn that it is not only big institutions that are susceptible to online hacking, but individuals too. So how does one avoid falling victim to cyber criminals? To discuss this, we're joined by Garcen Naidu, the country manager at Cisco. Garcen, thank you very much indeed for your time. Very good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Look, many around the world, as you know, are increasingly using web conferences platforms because of this epidemic. How exactly do hackers obtain and I guess leverage valuable credentials from these platforms?
So I think there's a couple of things there on how they obtain the credentials. But let's just start with looking at how do you actually keep yourself secure, or what is secure collaboration, online collaboration? I think there's two main elements that you need to take into account there. Right? So the technology platform that you are using, how is that built? Right? Is it built by a reputable company? What are the processes that they use to build a secure platform? Is security built in from the foundational elements of the engineering process? And then how is it maintained? Because threats change over time. The threat actors or the cyber criminals are constantly looking at new ways to compromise certain systems. So how is that maintained along the way? So, for example, I'll give you a Cisco Tellus, an example of Cisco Tellus. Cisco Tellus monitors the globe. A group of threats researchers that look around the globe, look for changing threats, look for new threats, and then advises our product team to update the technology. Right. Now, the other element is to the user behavior. How responsibly are you using these tools? Now, in terms of cyber criminals compromising your credentials, what we've seen at the moment from Cisco Tellus, for example, we've seen, as they monitor the globe, there's been about a 15% increase in spam, right? So what this actually is cyber criminals, cyber hackers, using social engineering techniques. Now, basically what that is, they're using your emotions and trying to get you to act in ways that you wouldn't ordinarily do. So in those scenarios, you'll be clicking on links that you wouldn't be ordinarily using, or going to sites that are malicious sites that will then compromise your credentials or access your credentials or steal your credentials from you.
So having this access to the credentials, what kind of malicious activities can cyber criminals carry out with this information? And my understanding is that it can range from something equivalent to photobombing, whereby they get onto a meeting and for instance, play porn and shocks and annoys everybody. But it can get more serious than that.
So look, I think let's take the collaboration example that you just mentioned. Now, certainly it's like you get into a collaboration meeting, a collaborative meeting, online meeting. The rooms can be locked, for example, to not allow anybody that wasn't invited, doesn't have access, is not included in that. But if you give your credentials away, you easily have access to the room. Think about it in this way. If you give away the keys to your house to just anybody, they're going to access your house at any time. Now, if that's the event of those credentials being stolen from a collaboration perspective. But if, for example, let's say you click on a malicious link, right, or open up a malicious attachment, there could be something that could be downloaded onto your machine, onto your PC, and sit there and track various other activities that you have on your machine, and steal many other credentials, and then link back into other host programs and share a lot of other information and compromise a lot of other private data that you have stored on your machine. So that's one of the other real challenges around compromised credentials.
So I guess the big question is, how can we guard against cyber criminals? What security precautions would you recommend?
So if you look at from a technology point of view, there's a number of different technology solutions that are available to you. And especially now with COVID-19 and lockdown, there's a number of organizations like ourselves, like Cisco, that is offering you free tools that are able to protect you as you work remotely, as you collaborate online. There's a number of free tools that you can use. One of them is Cisco Umbrella. You could use the free version of Cisco Umbrella. You could use that. And what that would help do is prevent you from clicking on these malicious links or going to these malicious sites. So there's a number of free tools and technology that you have available at this point in time. But you got to make sure that it is from reputable companies and it's not from malicious actors or cyber criminals also portraying to be organizations that are trying to assist you, but they would actually steal your credentials. The other key thing is keeping your software updated. So the software that you use is critical that you keep that software updated. But the other key thing that you should do is these threat actors or these cyber criminals very often leverage your emotions and try to make you act in haste. So if you're in a scenario where you think that somebody's trying to force me to do something and act in haste, just slow down and rethink what you're doing and take the time to understand how you are acting in the cyber world, how you're clicking on links, are you sharing information, are you sharing private information as well.
Right. So as companies move their workforces online and remote, I guess it's so important that they stay up to date with the best security practices. And people who work from home, I mean, you know, Garcen, they don't always have these protective mechanisms and software and different shields. Is it expensive to protect oneself at home?
So, as I mentioned, there's a number of free versions. And then protecting yourself from home, I just want to make a comment on that. As all of us are now working from home, as organizations are trying to be more productive or to encourage business continuity going forward, the shift towards remote working has been remarkable, and there's a number of organizations that have done that. The key differences here is while you were working within your office landscape, you've now moved home. You're not protected anymore by all of the controls that your organization had in place. And it now becomes very critical that you also start paying attention to what you are doing at home. Now, what we're finding is that there's a number of organizations that are leveraging our solutions for their employees that are working at home and helping them be secure. But the free solutions that are out there at the moment and the COVID-19 solutions that we are offering, and I mentioned one of them, Cisco Umbrella, you could take advantage of that right now, and that would help you be protected.
So, Garcen, is there any other trends that you are seeing that we should be aware of?
So, look, I think the trends from remote working home or working from home, there's certainly been an increase in cyber activity. So you should be cautious of that. The trends in terms of how cyber criminals are trying to get you or trying to compromise your security systems and access your credentials or steal your credentials. One of the key themes there is they've been leveraging COVID-19 in terms of our hunger, a thirst for information. You know, we're so anxious to know about how many new infections there are and what's the latest update. There was recently a malicious email from that was portrayed to be from the World Health Organization. So you're going to see more of this that will where cyber criminals will try and tap into current trends to make you act in ways that you don't ordinarily do. So think about the trends that are happening now. In terms of COVID-19, how you are acting, what you are doing, and make sure that you're getting your information from reliable sources and not going to malicious websites, right? So these cyber criminals try and point you in a direction, leveraging key trends that are happening at the moment.
Important information indeed, Garcen. Thank you very much indeed for informing our viewers and keeping our viewers up to date. We thank you very much indeed. Be well.
Thank you.
All right, that was Garcen Naidu, the country manager at Cisco.